Hey artists, today we're going to be checking out some Russian architecture and drawing our own line pattern Russian buildings with a swirling colorful sky. Follow along with me to see all the steps. All right, the first thing we're going to do is draw some of those Russian cathedral inspired buildings. And so when we're drawing that shape, a lot of times it begins with kind of just a long, tall rectangle. And then as we go up on that long, tall rectangle, the next thing is that kind of ballooned out shape that they have on their roof that kind of goes to a pointed shape. So the best way that I think to draw that is first we do the rounded curve. And the next thing we do is we bring it up to that tiny little point. And then you have that kind of style that we saw when looking at the cathedrals. The next thing we're going to do is just continue to draw some more of these towers at different levels and heights. So now over here, like next door, I might have one that goes up and is a little shorter. And the same kind of shape. Maybe I'll make a curve line here, and then I'm going to have it go out, and then up into that point, out, and up into that point. And we're just going to continue adding some more of these buildings. So maybe this one in the front will be maybe this one will actually be even taller. So I could draw a rectangle that goes up and meets the side of this rectangle. And then at the top, I could have, maybe this one has the pointed top that goes up and down and has that little round shape at the top and a little pointed piece above that. So we're just going to continue filling our space with these tall, thin buildings going up, up, up to the sky. So I think back here, I will have one that goes behind, maybe straight behind these buildings. And then I can put another of that curved dome shape on it. And then we could have another one that maybe comes up here. And I saw some of them that had kind of like the curve that goes up and over, up and over. And then another little rectangle shape. And then the dome that goes up. And it's going to be up to you how you want to fill your page. I think I might have maybe just a smaller one up here. And I'm going to erase that line to show that this one's in the front. And then I'm also going to add another little dome. So I'm going to have it go out and up to that pointed and then back out over. And now I have my buildings all ready to go. The next step is to get either a black marker, a Sharpie, or just a dark colored marker that you have, and we're going to outline the outside of our buildings. So we're just going to go down and around all of our lines. Until it is all outlined with our black. And as you're outlining, you can also add some windows if you would like, maybe just like a little window at the top. And then we'll just fill that in with black. Then we're going to continue outlining all of the buildings with our black marker. And you can use any black marker you have. It could be a Sharpie marker. Just going to go around every line. Once you've outlined, then we're going to start adding our different line designs and patterns. So you can pick any kind of pattern you would like, and you're going to grab your black marker and put that pattern onto your building. One thing that I saw a lot of times on the buildings was that kind of swirly pattern where it kind of went around and up. And so we could do that. So I'm just kind of putting those swirly lines on here. And then you can think of other line designs that would look cool on your building. You could be using, let's see, we could do like a squares type of line. But we're going to fill all of your buildings in with different line designs. It could be polka dots, lines, patterns, just any kind of line design that you could fill your building in with. All right, and the next one, maybe I'll make this one have some stars. It can be any kind of line design you want. You can put shapes, lines, squiggly lines, bumpy lines, squares, polka dots, triangles. But we're going to fill every building in with these black and white designs because behind the building is going to be all bright, wild colors. So we want behind our buildings to have all the brightness, and on our building is going to be these black and white line designs. As you're adding more line designs, you could also start adding some more windows as well if you'd like. I know we saw some had kind of those fun shaped windows that looked like little circles. And then the window was in here, just like a little circle window. And I saw some of the windows that had just kind of that rounded shape. And some windows that, let's see, looked kind of like a rectangle shape inside of a triangle. I saw that on the building too. So we're just going to be doing different line designs, adding some windows, and just adding different lines. Zigzag lines, bumpy lines, curved lines, curly lines. You have so many choices. I think on this building, I'm just going to do a bumpy line. And then I'm just going to fill that in all the way. And then after I finish that, I could have, let's see, maybe a swirly line. And I'm just going to fill those in. All right, I'm going to continue adding some different line designs to my buildings. I think I'm going to do just a darker sideways stripe on this one. And I just want to make sure I get the whole building filled in with whatever pattern and line design that I choose. And I noticed when I was looking at St. Basil's Cathedral and that kind of old-fashioned architecture, I saw lots of different designs and so many details, and so I'm trying to incorporate some of that into my picture. Right. After I finish this, I want to also work on the roof of these, so I could use some bumpy lines or some of those swirls again like I saw on my roof, but I do want to add some line design to the roof and to my little building that I have left here. I like this stripe. I think that really looks neat. Okay, so maybe on one of the roofs I could do like a zigzag line. And I'm just going to fill that all the way in. And I did notice that there were some little details we could be putting on top of these, like where there's like a little circle and then like a real tall piece of metal on the top. And that looks really neat. We can do that on this one too. That circle shape and then the tall skinny shape. All right, these are really coming along. So I'm going to pick another line design to put on this building. I think I'm going to do stripes that go across. And I might do some of those circle windows. And then color this part in with my black marker. So as you are designing your buildings, just make sure that you are using a black or dark colored marker and you are adding different line designs and patterns and swirls to your buildings and your roofs. So I'm just coloring in this part. I think that looks pretty neat with the black ink in the background and then the white shapes kind of pop out in the front. Okay, so I've got this building finished. I can start adding some details to the roof. And then we'll get to that exciting part, which is the sky behind these buildings that really brings it all together. Okay, for this roof, I think I might do some stripes that go up. Curving them so it looks like it moves with the pattern there. All right, that building's finished. And so just go back and complete any little details that you may have wanted to put on your buildings. I could do a swirly line. All right, and once you feel like you are satisfied with your buildings and how you've colored them all in with different line designs and patterns, then the next step is going to be to design this amazing sky. Just adding a few extra details here. All right. Okay, for the sky, you can choose if you want to use colored pencils, crayons, or markers. I usually do a combination, but what we're going to be trying to do is concentric circles. That's where there's a little circle in the middle, and then another circle goes around the outside, and it just kind of continues. And so I'm going to be doing that. I think I'm going to use my markers and my crayons because I find when I use just my markers, it's a lot of coloring in that can be more difficult. You do not want to get your swirls on your buildings. You want to keep them in your sky only. You can do all different colors. You could have your circles be really big. They could be smaller. You could have just two colors. Maybe you're just going to do blue and green, or you could do many colors like I'm trying to do here. So I'm just going to start these circles in a few different places and then go to my next color, which I had as the light blue. And then I did the purple. And then I had the red. Like I said, when you are coloring your sky, you could do some marker like me. You could do it with all marker. You could do it with colored pencil, or crayons would work. But our goal is to have the background, the sky, with all concentric circles, different circles inside other circles. So now I can grab some other colors that I like and start adding them to my picture. So I might have some of this be yellow. So this is really fun. You get to use any colors you want. You could have warm colors and make it look more like circles of sunset. You could have cool colors so it looks like maybe the morning time. But we're just going to get a little wild with these colors, making sure not to get them on my buildings because the sky is the focus of the color. All right, so we're just going to keep coloring in the circles. And as we go, the color is going to go out and we'll eventually color the entire sky with color. So now that I've colored in all of my circles, I'm just going to start putting some color around my circles and kind of filling up that sky. You can add some other colors. You can have more swirls. But we want to make sure we keep the color just in the background. And already it starts to look so cool because the background kind of makes those cool buildings you drew pop forward. And so you're just taking your colors and adding to that sky until you're satisfied and the whole sky has no white space. All right, and then once you're finished with all these colors, you are going to have a finished Russian architecture picture. These buildings are so unique and so interesting, and they're really fun to put into our art. So now, look at that. We've got our wild pattern buildings, and we have our beautiful swirling sky in the background. I can't wait to see what your buildings look like.